First of all, I know her very well, and I know her husband very well, and I like them both. And they are, just really terrific people. I like them both very much, but I think you'll be looking at the record of Hillary Clinton and how did she do as Secretary of State, probably above and beyond everybody else and everything else. Probably above and beyond everybody else and everything else.
Here's the story. There is nobody that was worse, nobody, than Bill Clinton with women. Okay? Nobody. Now, in the history of politics, Hillary Clinton's husband abused women more than any man that we know of in the history of politics.
Through my research for this story, I found that last spring, the two, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, had a private phone conversation in which Bill Clinton advised that Trump take a more prominent role in the Republican Party. Now, this was about a month after Hillary had declared her presidential bid and just a few weeks before Trump declared his own. So, these two have been longtime friends. Before the presidential election has kind of pitted the two families against one another.
So how far back did their friendship go? How close was it?
Decades. Through my research, I found that the two have golfed together. Donald Trump has said Bill Clinton is the best of the past four presidents. He invited the Clintons to his wedding in 2005, which they attended. It goes back for decades. I specifically looked at the Monica Lewinsky scandal, and at the time of the height of Bill Clinton's presidency, he admitted to having relations with the White House intern. And shortly after that, Donald Trump seemed to sympathize with the president, saying he should be able to refuse to answer questions about his sexual history. And 10 years later, in 2008, he said, that he again was sympathizing for him and said he's strong as Teflon. He can get through this. He called the impeachment process nonsense.
Yeah. The Clinton Library, which is run by the National Archive, that's going to release some photos of Donald Trump with President Clinton that were taken back in 2000. Politico reports this release, which could come in September, is in response to a Freedom of Information Act request. So what do you think we might learn about the relationship with these two men from these photos?
Well, if photos say anything, I don't know if you recall the photo of the Clintons attending that wedding in 2005. It kind of, Donald Trump has been criticized for his friendship with the Clintons. We know they're Democrats, they're fellow New Yorkers, so I can only imagine that it might make it an even uglier election campaign season than we've already seen.
Yeah, and in fact, you talk about the wedding. That's the wedding of Donald Trump to his current wife, Melania, in which wasn't Hillary Clinton given a prominent position, like she was sitting in the front row? She was in the front row. And then Bill Clinton later joined them at the reception. But Donald Trump has tried to spin that since. He said they had no choice but to attend because of all the money that he had donated to them, right? Right, and you bring up an interesting point. He spun it, which we've seen Donald Trump do with different issues. He kind of seems to spin different issues, different policies. A Trump aide has said that he was friends with Bill Clinton. He's admitted to that friendship, but he said now the game is different, that he's a presidential candidate. So you mentioned the times when Trump has been known to support and defend the former president. You think there's anything in here that can complicate further the campaign for either candidate? I was very surprised when I found out that Trump thought Clinton was the best of the past four presidents. Very surprised at that. He has called, in the past, Trump called Clinton a victim to an unattractive group of women. You'll remember there were 3 female accusers during the 1990s. And now as a presidential candidate, he's saying, no, Clinton is the victimizer. He's the worst abuser of women in the history of politics. It is an interesting article, Michelle Gorman. Thanks for talking with us about it there from Newsweek.